as a millennials or back up with and Gen Z if they will allow us. But because they are fighting, we need also to write a document na tumpeleke. So I'm here, we need to be there. We demand for half of everything. Millennials and said Gen Z to be half. Gen Z apate 5, we pate 5, 10. Why don't we write that thing?
So si mtakuwa mmechukua serikali yote?
No half. Sisi ni wengi. Sisi ni wenye kusema.
Sawa. Nishakusikia. Let's give someone else a chance. I can see.
Okay, thank you.
Shankin is already unmuted.
Yeah, so guys, how are you? Mnanisikia?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I would like to talk about something right here concerning the topic actually. And I'm a Gen Z. I'm 20 years old. I'm a Kenyan citizen. And tukiona mahali vitu zinatukaba lazima to address hizo issues. We are not those kind of people that we can be oppressed and stay silent. We have to stand up and speak out the truth of what is happening. So first things first. Mkiuliza mbona tunaendelea kuandamana saa hii I don't know if mko Kenya, because this is not the Kenya that people have known for the past years. This is a new Kenya whereby even the things our watu wana pass through saa hii, like whatever Ruto is going through right now, ajui hata vile atai handle. They have never seen anything like this. Hawajaiona any movement that is coming is raising so quick like this one. So hawana any way ya kutupinga. You know, they tried to use the church ikatuita Illuminati hatukusikiza. Wakaamua kutumia tribalism, we didn't listen to that, bado tunaendelea. Wamejaribu kutu abduct because that was the last thing they could do na kutuua, bado wameshindwa because tunaendelea kuprotest. Now imefika mahali they are just there excusing themselves that now it's we are being funded from outside. This shows how much confusion these people are in. These people are so confused. And this is our strategic plan that we can stand against them, tuendelea kufanya what we are doing because they are confused. Unasikia leo ni Ford Foundation, kesho kutu unasikia ni kitu kingine, unasikia we have sponsors from outside. Yani wako na vitu mingi. In day one they said we are just near Gen Z's kids. Si ndio? Day 2 akasema tunaendanga maandamano na iPhone, tunaenda maandamano na Uber. Ikaenda hivyo mpaka imefika mahali wameanza kusema you are our children now, wameanza kunyenyekea. Umesikia imefika mahali sasa Gen Z tunakuwa recognized. You know, now we have gained that recognition and we are not stopping. Mimi hiyo nao nitakuwa sure. Ninajua hapa ndani kuna millennials, nataka nikule food niende maandamano saa hii. So nimeona ni vizuri nichukue hii chance niongee then nitoke, because I want to launch up and then I go to the maandamano. It's just in a neighborhood. Hapa Jkia, it's just a few yards. So what I would say is this. Hakuna strategy nyingine tuko nayo.
Shankin, can I ask you a question before you make your closing remarks?
Yeah, continue.
Umesema we need a strategic plan.
Yeah.
And if we in doing strategic plan, my background is law, but I've been running an organization for 21 years. Mm-hmm. When you do a strategic plan, you need to get views from the people.
Yeah. And
all the people, all the stakeholders, not just the young people you work with.
Yeah, very, very true.
And if you don't plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah, very true.
So being on the street is one way of doing things.
Yeah.
We also need voices at the table to be able to negotiate for these positions to go to people of integrity and follow the Chapter 6 of the Constitution.
Yes.
What is your take on that?
My take on that is that before we even get to a point that we are now appointing someone to stand for us, before we get to a point where we want to decide that now we want to choose this particular person to stand for us, we have to go to the protests at first, the first thing actually. And our strategic plan is that the government is confused, and that's where our plan lies. That's where tuna stand that now huyu jamaa amechanganyikiwa, ajui tuna strike wapi, ajui tuna strike sangapi, ajui tuna plan nini. You know, the media is a very strong tool, so that's what we are using actually. So mkituandarate mkidhani tuko na nyinyi mkiexpect tuko na bunduki, that is a 1992 barbaric system. Sisi tunatumia iPhone, tunatumia Wi-Fi, and we are just well equipped. Actually, that one is a strategic plan. The rest za kuchoose leader,
I think the iPhones and the being online is even a more sophisticated weapon than even the guns.
Yeah, and that is why they are afraid. Unashikwa na polisi ama goon, watu wana record and the goon is like, we itakuwa covered kwa media, so they just leave you alone. So I think the only thing that imekuwa very useful to the Gen Z is the media actually, like the internet and all that, the social media platforms. Leave alone that. Before we get to choose you, like, so unajua Gen Zs before hata we are in this together actually. We are a Kenyan. Tuache kujita Gen Z sana. Even if okay, mimi ni Gen Z nitaenda maandamano, I'm still a Kenyan, okay? Nataka munielewe. Our parents are still Kenyans. Our brothers wenye wametushinda miaka, wenye wamevuka, unajua no one chose the time to be born actually. The thing is that we need to educate each other. Jana tulikuwa live tukiongelea vile tulikuwa live TikTok actually, tulikuwa tunaongelea about vile Jkia iliuzwa na hizo vitu zote, and in fact the only thing that inatupain na inaweza fanya mimi mpaka yenye inafanya mpaka leo tuende maandamano, si ati inaweza fanya, is that the person after amemaliza hiyo contract yake ya 30 years, I think ni 33 years, atakuwa akichukua 21% for the whole lifetime. And what is that? It profits after hiyo deal imeisha, akwa akichukua another percentage of profits all the time from Kenya. And kwani mbona tunauza mali yetu ya Kenya? When did this happen? KICC was also being sold. Kama kuna mtu ajui huku, KICC was also being sold. So guys, this is our country, and let me tell you, hakuna Mkenya ataishi bila siasa. Utajifanya I'm not a political enthusiast. Look what we are doing. Look at us now. We are here discussing about things that we never even thought of discussing. This shows that we are concerned. It is in our blood. It is us. It is who we are. We have to stand. And mimi nimekuja hapa.
But Shankin.
Yes.
Shankin,
yes.
Don't you think like the conversation we are having here now, we need to engage millennials and Gen X and our parents,
Yeah.
Information is power. You have the information at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Literally, my dad used to say information flies over you, and if you don't have the gadgets to tap into it, inakupita tu.
Yeah.
That was him asking for a smartphone.
So I guess.
And how do we have this conversation? Have your closing remarks, and then I'll give Miss.
Yeah.
I can see the full name, Miss Mwajuma.
Let me finish by saying this. On my live nilipata msee ananiambia that hawezi convince mzazi wake kutoongelea Mount Kenya. If you are speaking anything against outside Mount Kenya region, and munakosana na yeye. So mimi nimeongea na mzazi wangu. I'm unlucky that it's unfortunate niko na mother peke yake. So I spoke to her, nimemueducate, and one thing I know, she will also educate her peers. But the question is, are all the people I see tuko wengi hapa, have you spoke to your parents? Have you told them that this is what is happening in their country? Have they known that our minerals are being exported illegally? Have they known that we are in a crucial time that we need to save this country? Nyinyi watu pia, you have kibarua ya ku-educate wazazi.
Responsibility.
Because from my side, I'm done. My mom is aware, and I'm sure ataendelea kuambia watu wengine. So nyinyi mko na kazi pia nyinyi. Keep on pushing. As a Gen Z, I will say thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I think I have shared out my thoughts. Yeah, so nilijoin juzi Twitter because of these things, we cannot stand while our country is falling. Thank you very much.
Asante sana Shankin. Miss Mwajuma, the mic is yours, Miss Mwajuma.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for giving me chance. I'm Audrey or Mwajuma, and I'm very happy for the revolution in the first place. It is something that should have happened long time ago, hata time ya wazazi wetu. But the thing that those guys lacked was the confidence and courage that Gen Zs never lacked. Another reason why hii revolution inakuwa successful is this thing of being leaderless, tribeless, ama partyless. You know, once they find a leader, they'll have one person to face na wamwambie this thing is like this, like that. First of all, when the guy was vying for president, he knew what he was getting himself into, because he has been in the government for like forever, since eternity. The guy was there, and in the previous government he was there, the second in command, just after the president, which means he already knew everything that was going on in the government. When he decided that he was vying for the presidency and he went into the ballot, and our work as the citizens and as the nation was to vote him in. Thereafter everything else was upon him. Anajua kazi yake, and it didn't need us to remind him of what he should do. Don't you think that the government or the president knows that it should be fighting corruption? Don't you think that the government and the president knows that embezzlement of public funds is illegal? Don't you think that the government knows that having ghost workers and unemployment is an issue that should be solved? It is something that they know. And the reason why there is this protest or the mandamano is because they never did what they should have done in the first place. They never did what they were required to do. They know what they should have done. They know what they should do, but because they choose to unlisten to the people, they chose the other language, the language of violence that they could listen to. That is why the people walianza hii stuff here, the protest, because the government could not understand us. And to make it better, or something also that is facilitating this is because this generation that we are currently, I'm a Gen Z. I'm actually a Gen Z, a campus student, but I'm very much informed. And I know very well that the protest is no longer like the political stuff. You know, back then, people walikuwa wanasema siasa is not my things, politics is not my thing. And even if politics was not my thing. But right now, I know that what I'm fighting for is my future, and what I'm fighting for is the future of my kids, the future of my grandkids, the future of my great-grandkids, that my parents or my grandparents didn't have the courage to. That is why I'm fighting for. Like now, I'm almost finishing campus, and I'm scared of nikitoka hapo nje, will I get job because of the corruption? And you know, corruption comes along with nepotism and tribalism. I'll be going to seek job opportunity. Now maybe I'm really qualified, but siezi pata juu because of my tribe or nepotism, because there's a 70-year-old person somewhere mwenye amekuwa ana hold the office for like forever, na kazi yake ni kuemploy his generation. Tell me why a person approaching 80s is holding an office. Which future is he building? The offices mostly should be for the younger generation. Mtu ako around 25. That person is building his future. And
Miss
Majuma,
Majuma, can I hold you right there?
Yeah.
I hear you loud and clear. What you're saying is you want these positions to be available, and it should not be made available to the 70-year-olds. But if you're not Gen Zs are now saying, let me just finish.
Mm-hmm.
And if I've understood you, the Gen Zs are now saying we don't want the positions. So who is going to take the positions if you don't want it? The 70-year-olds, the 80-year-olds are availing themselves.
Let me tell you something, Fatuma. What is happening? The reason why Gen Z are saying that they don't want the position, it's like they're now baiting us or something like that. It is something that they should have done in the first place.
Kindly.
Na sahi that wanaifanya sahi means they knew that they were doing something wrong. means that they knew that they were doing something wrong and they were just waiting for they thought that the citizens of the nations were uninformed or illiterate or something. You see, sasa kama the in the first place walisema they don't want reshufflement, and the same thing happened. He brought the same people that Alisha fire. Tell me why you fire somebody for not doing his job, then you rehire him saying that he can do that job. That is a lie. And you know that there's not that stronger power than the power of information and the power of knowing what you really want. And the citizens and the nations it's a movement, and they've decided what they want.
Let's hear from Shankin.
When you are saying that we resist the opportunities to get those seats is very simple. Sisi hatufumbwi macho. We are not being blindfolded, okay? Hautakuja utuambia ati sasa nakupatia kazi ni kulipe unyamaze. We are not buying that. We are too broke to buy rights, okay? We are not buying manifestos za fala kaa hizo. Unajua, you know, I only have 1 meal a day. It is actually that's what we do nowadays. 1 meal 24 hours. Nikule kama ni sapa, niamke saa 8, ninge online mpaka kitu jioni, then nikule hiyo sapa. So telling us that utatupatia viti, that's bullshit. We need a change, a total change. Give us an environment whereby we can work by ourselves. We know how to look for money. Wacha kwenda ku weekend our Kenyan shilling mpaka we cannot even do forex, we cannot do anything. Yani Kenya inakuwa so useless in all ways. Wacha kutudanganya ati unatupatia viti hapa. Hizo viti hatutaki. We want change. Before you give us those seats, give us the change. So we interpret that as kutufumba macho. Are we together there? Hiyo ni kutufumba.
Then they are saying it could jobs do, and the jobs zenye ziko juu ni jobs irrelevant. Mtu amefanya degree hawezi enda kufanya kama house help maju.
Yeah.
Why not just give somebody a good job in the country? The positions are there, the funds are there, and the thing that they are doing, they are busy making the rich more richer. Kazi ni kuongeza tu the kazi kwa allowances, the people like the MPs wanapewa unnecessary allowances, wanaandika projects that they forgo with, you know, it is just unrealistic, and the generation is now informed.
Ms. Majuma, wacha tupatie Prof a chance. Professor Fred.
Thank you so much, and Kibe and Fatuma. I'm banning this morning. I want to give you a brief history, just a minute. When you look at the presidents we've had before, like Mwai Kibaki, for instance, he took over power when Kenya was on its knees economically. And this person took over power in 2007, in 2002, December 27. By January, we had free primary education. We had civil servants opening bank accounts, which were never there before. Teachers, police officers.
Did we lose Fred?
Seems like amepotea.
Na vile alikuwa na moto sana.
Kibe umeniita?
Kibe umeniita? Good job, keep going.
Did you call me?
Wakenda tumeita Fred.
Oh, sorry.
Can I talk? Fatuma.
Jerry. Sema.
Yes, I think we have a constitution in our country and no one is above our constitution, even our president. And I will start by saying it becomes a moment when the country comes before an individual. When you see people going to the street fighting, it is not that they are not informed. And that is where the government is now having a disconnection of the information. These people are armed. They know what they are fighting for. Our parents have fought and they have terribly failed. This time, as young people, we are not failing. And we are very much aware devolution, corruption has been devolved. In county government, that's where corruption is very even big. We cannot let our country go to the dogs. Like now, Ms. Mwanjuma or whoever has talked before me has said, we are not looking for possessions. We don't want to run the country. We just want the government to abide by the law, use the constitution, provide services to equal services and equal opportunity to every Kenyan. The war is not about the young people, the Gen Z, the millennials. It is for the betterment of our country. We cannot sit down and is thinking on how we can divide opportunities when our fellow young people are fighting on the street. Because I have heard somebody saying we should be now organizing on how we should be writing something to present to the president on behalf of the Gen Zs or millennials who are fighting on the street. That is being opportunist. We should be on the forefront, fighting for equality, fighting for better government. And we also take opportunity to blame ourselves. We are the people who voted in for this corrupt government. We should blame ourselves. We should repent. We should also apologize for the people that we never voted in and they could have provided for a better government. Going forward, in Kirinyaga County, we are having a civic education. We have professionals who have done law. We will be going from village to educate our mothers, our elderly people, because when it comes to 2027, we need leaders who are competent, leaders who are development-oriented. We can never keep on fighting among us ourselves, fighting for a better government, and when it comes to voting, we are voting corrupt individuals. Ruto might not go, but I can tell you people will fight for good governance until to the end. Not on social media, not only on social media alone, but even in the street. It is within the constitution. We have been given that it is around by the constitution, and we are not going to sit in our yes.
Jerry, I hear you. Lakini I have a question for you.
Okay.
The how. How do you do it?
How do we?
Everything is enshrined in the constitution. Like 60 years we've had this constitution.
Yes.
Kenya's had issues with corruption. And in terms of like choosing leaders and getting leadership, good leaders into place, like following chapter 6 of the constitution.
Integrity,
accountability, all this. You literally, and I'll share with you my little experience.
Yes.
I started working with kids from as young as 7 years. All the way to 25.
Yes.
Why 7? Because leadership is something that you need to inculcate. You can't just talk about leadership when you're 40 years, 45 years, you want to be a leader. It doesn't work like that. Look at Ruto. He came in very young as a youth leader.
Yes.
And then he worked his way to be a member of parliament. At some point, he was a minister. Then he became a VP. And now he's the president. Deputy president and then president. This guy has planned his life in a way that he knew from the very beginning. The minute he stepped into politics, he knew where he was heading. He had a plan. The Gen Zs are here saying, we don't need a plan. Let's get him out. The how is what is the problem. So how do we get these leaders of integrity if you're not ready to put your name forward?
Okay, I think the current generation is very informed. We cannot assume that they know nothing. And as I have told you, in Kirinyaga County, we have taken initiative as youth leaders to help the community understand the constitution and their rights. From there, after negotiating with the people, not with the leaders, because we have a very wide gap in between ourselves and our parents. We are informed. Our parents, maybe they might not be having the necessary information to digest every information that is coming out. It is our collective responsibility as young people to help them know there is right, our airport is being sold, the KICC has already been auctioned. We have corrupt Rinda who has been reshuffled. Actually, we were requesting for all the CS to be sacked. We can see the president never even listened to the young people. He reshuffled the cabinet. We already have 6 names from the previous cabinet. So that we have the plan, and I can assure you young people have the plan. Whatever we will be doing, we will be mobilizing people, starting from the registering from the political parties that the political brokers own, even if it will mean to have a political party that is solely owned by young people come 27, that one will put in place. When it comes to young people offering themselves to be elected, that is a subject to be discussed when campaign seasons come. At this particular moment, we are fighting corruption, starting from the national government, going trickling down to the county government, and making sure everybody that will be nominated or appointed for every position has no integrity issues. We will also make sure we put churches accountable, because this time it is very evident the church has gone to bed with the government. The church is very influential when it comes to the society matters. We need the church to tell the congregation the truth. Like I've just seen another pastor telling the people that we need a fine stone to build Kenya, not a deformed person who has integrity issues and he purport to be representing the will of the people, or acquiring or being appointed in a particular office to take all our funds. We cannot be seated here talking about leadership opportunities when we are fighting corruption, when we are fighting impunity in our county, in our government, when we are correcting and putting our leaders into accountability, instead of, and then we want to have correct people to be elected come 2027. The people who are in possession at the moment. Moving forward, we already have a plan to make sure if it is right,
Jerry.
He is nowhere to be seen. Karonso, he is nowhere to be seen.
Jerry.
Ruto, yes.
Jerry, don't you think like the planning should start now, so
And
that you implement it in 2027?
I support you. It should start now through
Because
actions.
if you don't plan now, you have very good points, and you keep on saying we. My worry with that is then nobody takes responsibility for those actions. So if you were to have an action plan,
yes.
And again, I will remind you, I come from an NGO background. So for us, whatever the community suggests, you cannot do everything. You need to prioritize.
Sure.
Get your priorities with the community, not alone. Because if I decided to work with the young, initially I thought I can work with the young people alone, and I will be okay with that, and nobody will question me. I was stoned in the stadium when I was playing football with the girls.
Yes.
Because people didn't want their girls to lift their legs. There were a lot of issues around that. This was 2008. It took me, I had 14 12 girls whom I took for a tournament to Nairobi. When we went back to Marsabit, 10 of them were abducted for marriage. 10 of them were abducted for marriage. That was the community clearly telling me they are not ready for girls football. They were not ready. But we were using this football to discuss issues of FGM, to discuss issues of early marriage, to give the girls a voice and a choice. Building leadership from a very young age so that the girls themselves can stand up and say no to these atrocities that were being committed. Today, we have girls who are in leadership positions, from class prefects, being top in the class.
Yes.
You need to plan. And if you fail to plan, then you're going to fail.
Very true.
So if we don't start now, as the revolution is going on, alongside the revolution, don't you think we need an action plan? And the action plan, you have said a lot of things. We need to have people of accountability. How do we have people of accountability? Can we have weekly plan? Can we have monthly plan? Can we have like 3 months plan? Can we have 6 months plan? And hold it there, because 1 year is just too far away.
Sure.
In a week, so many things happen in Kenya today. Ruto is really confused, as one of the speakers said. So can't we take advantage of this confusion and present our plan, and then take over leadership come 2027, or even before then, if IBC is constituted?
Okay, I agree with you halfway. We should be having a plan that is going hand on hand. As we are going to riot or to protest on the street, we should be having professionals to guide us on the way forward, not opportunists. We are afraid of people who want to take opportunity that presents itself and run with it at the expense of the people who have died on the street, at the expense of the people who are still on the hospital, at the expense of millions of youths who are suffering outside there. So if there is any way we can have
Thank you so much, Mary.
Still have a long way to
Hold
go.
up, everybody. Mtu amewasha mic yake na ina sound bad. Can we fix that?
na baratori ichimbira chindi chubukangi bukungu sababu tetone soko hale turahira mahindi so again to kenu nyore nare ko sabarora ni
Njeri, you can go ahead. I just wanted, there was a mic that was on and I wanted us to clean that first. Go ahead, Njeri.
Okay, thank you, Kipe. Thank you. So what I'm saying, I'm concurring with Fatuma. Whatever you're saying, it is very important also as young people to understand we should be having a workable plan. That is number one. But what worries us, there are people who want to take advantage of whatever is happening for their own good, for their own benefit. Even when the Mau fighters were acting, there are people who collaborated with the European, and of course they never suffered as much as Mau suffered. Actually, they benefited most at the expense of the people. So we want maybe we can have a team of professionals who can help us come up with a very open, not closed-door meeting or anything to do with private, something that even a person from interior, where you've talked about Western, whether it is Marsabit, whether it is Garissa, can concur with that plan, because it presents the challenges of every young people who is in Kenya, and we can all agree, yes, we are fighting corrupt people, we are fighting corrupt system, we are fighting corrupt individuals. What is the way forward? After we win this fight, we need individuals to occupy the parliament come 2027. We need the individuals to occupy the gubernatorial seat 2027, MPs, MCAs. Will we still wait until the corrupt individuals sneak themselves their way in to these positions? It is a very broad conversation. I'm glad that Fatuma, you can be able to talk about it very openly and give examples of the initiative that you've been doing, but let there not be people to take advantage of this moment. Let have some people. We should not allow greedy people take the opportunity. And I will quote, just like Honorable Jerry Maina from Kirinyaga County quoted something at Citizen TV today. The system is corrupt. The system cannot accommodate the common mwananchi. We should rethink. Because when you go to the county government and you go to a certain hospital and you cannot even find gloves for the medics to handle the sick people, are you not putting the medics at risk of contracting even the diseases? You cannot even afford to have Panados.
Jerry, Ebu repeat that. The system cannot do what?
I'm saying the system it is corrupt. It cannot accommodate even the common Wanjiko.
There we go. That is a profound statement. What? And Jerry, yes, the conversation that I'm turning to right now,
yes,
is forget about even removing just Ruto. The system has to go. The whole system has to go. We have to create a whole new system that works for us, because this one, if we put you today in Jerry, you're going to turn on us.
True, very true.
So even though we were to get rid of these people and we bring people, there are too many loopholes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Who said that thing? The system cannot accommodate the common mwananchi. Shit.
It is Honorable Jerry Maina. Today in the morning, I followed the whole conversation, and I can tell you, it is all the same thing. We are fighting Ruto, and in county government, where we receive a lot of funds, that is where mega looting is happening. You can see there are MCAs who cannot even talk. They are just there like flower men or flower girls. The governor has to dictate to them, we need to have this fund. Like in Kirinyaga County, we will be paying 20 million for Wi-Fi annually. 20 million. Are we funding for the whole country? We have street light for the house of the governor that is worth 14 million. We have a canteen that will be put in place at the governor's office worth 7 million. What are we telling the common mwananchi who cannot even put a plate of food for his children or for her children on the table? Yeah? And you are calling him or her hasura. Is that not an insult?
I have a question, because when you talk about Kirinyaga,
yes,
it now opens up a whole new conversation. So how long do you think we have been blind?
Yes.
Jerry.
Did you hear the question?
Yes.
Where is Anthony? Why is Anthony unmuted? So, Jerry, my question is, how long do you think we have been blind, or is this who we are?
I can tell you, let me tell you one thing. I don't know what happened to the
go on.
Okay. I can tell you, Kibe, I don't know what happened to the common mwananchi, and that's why I concur with Fatuma. We need civic education on the people on the ground, because we knew very well Governor Anne Waiguru had issues about the Bob, and we made him the county boss, thinking that the hyena has changed, only turning into the true colors of herself. Now that we cannot have even the medication in hospitals. Actually, let me tell you one thing, Kife. All the taxes and the funding that we've been receiving from the national government or from the treasury to the county government in Kirinyaga County has never been utilized, apart from paying the workers. We have the national, the World Bank, which has built hospitals in Kirinyaga County. We have the campus that has been put in place in the street by the World Bank. So as a resident and as a person who has been born in Kirinyaga and raised in Kirinyaga and a youth leader from Kirinyaga, we have a question: where has been our taxes been utilized by our able governor Anne Mombi Waiguru? When it comes to the leader of minority, he has already been bought. He cannot even talk on behalf of the lesser minority. We have bills that has been passed. We see money being taken to the respective ministries. And if you look, maybe like youth and gender office has never carried even a single initiative that can or be of benefit of the youth of Kirinyaga. So where has been the money going? We had a scandal from Nairobi County where we had the governor receiving 50 million per day. It is Sonko who said it is not me, it is in the public domain. You can imagine a sitting governor receiving 50 million per day, money that could have provided school feeding program in schools, money that could have raised the money that could have provided medication, money that could have employed the JSC teachers, money that could have employed our doctors who took a lot of time to go through the books. Their parents have sold their land so that their children can get the education. We have our MP from where? Mere Maiki, who said we will be reviving generally. We will be reviving generators in Moya so that we can put up a factory that will be generating sanitary towels and diapers.
Jerry.
Is that not total madness from Arinda?
Jerry, can I jump in?
Kindly do, Fatuma.
I hear you. And you have raised a lot of pertinent questions. But I want to clarify from you. Other than knowing how much has been spent, have you done any social accountability? And is it possible to do social accountability? Because I think the picture that is being painted out here,
or anything. So what we'll be doing, Fatuma, we'll be having a X-Space on Sunday that we'll be having. On Sunday we had one. On Sunday we'll be having one so that we can give people opportunity to raise their issues, and we have professionals from Kirinyaga County or any other person who would assist so that we can have a drafted copy. We need going forward to account to every single coin that is coming to our county, whether it is in our NGCDF fund, whether it is in GAF, whether it is money that the county government receives, so that we can progress forward as a county. And I think it is important to every county to do the same. As much as we have corruption at the national level, let us do it in the county level.
Thank you, Njeri. Let's give someone else a chance now. Kibe, I think you're back and Anthony is back.
Okay, can I say something?
Who is speaking? Honeybird? Who is speaking? Winnie?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Can you mute so that I give
Fatma
Ndime a chance and then I come to you? Yeah?
Oh, you can hear me now, eh?
I can hear you now loud and clear.
Thank you.
Let's give Nyandimo a chance and then we'll come to Diamond and then to Winnie. Winnie, if that is okay.
Okay, thank you, Fatuma. Just to be fast and quick, I want to respond to the prior speaker, Ankolajita Prince, kwamba the issue of millennium, Gen Z, sijui wachukue 25%. I want to remind you that such kind of provision currently we don't have in our constitution. So if we have to follow the constitution, let us also read and be conversant with our constitution. There's no provision where we will tell the president that we want 25% for Gen Zs, 25% for millennials, so that we can be comfortable with your government. We don't have that provision. Second, we know the person we are dealing with. Ruto is a very cunning guy. We have given him chance, and you've seen what he has done with that opportunity. It's like your girlfriend has forgiven you for cheating, and then the next day she's being told kwamba bwanako amepatiana mimba huko nje. It's become more complicated. Even you will wonder, should we continue this relationship or what do I do now? because from cheating na huku sasa amepatiana tena ball. Finally, Mr. Kibe, there's something you brought in the morning. That today, the issue is we have to take a stand. What do we do in situation at hand? I want to give you a small scenario and a question. There's this thing called calabash. Calabash is used to store this fermented milk. And back at home, when things were tough, we were being asked that, imagine you are in a situation whereby the fermented milk that was supposed to serve the family in a calabash. You wake up in the morning and you find a snake inside the calabash. As a family member, what do? Do you find a way of removing this snake, at least for your family to have something? Or do you destroy the calabash and the snake? Here, the calabash for us is our constitution and our country. And inside the calabash, we have the most corrupt person we've ever seen in the world as our head of state. So, do we dialogue with the snake? We remove the snake and take in the contaminated milk? And knowing very well that he has been caught, do you think this snake will come out and say, guys, goodbye, now you can continue with your milk? Mr. Kibe, we've seen scenarios like, I've just had Madam talking about Kirinyaga. These issues are very deep-rooted. We knew very well that Madam Waiguru was mentioned adversely in so many scandals, but the people still took their time and voted for her. And corruption fights back, and it fights back in a very lethal manner. Let's take, for example, Meru County. The governor has been...
Nyandimo.
Yes?
Just to interject kidogo for 1 minute, I just want to bring you up to speed with something. Or not, you're saying corruption fights back. Even systems like the system we are discussing now, it equally fights back. I don't know whether you are aware of what is happening in Nairobi. Guys with motorbikes have been paid. You've seen?
I've seen.
Guys in motorbikes have been paid. So I just wanted you to, you can use a current example. Use what you can merge Meru and what is happening right now to show people how the system tries to, maintain itself.
Yeah, that I was now on Meru issue. You can see how the governor has been impeached almost twice, almost thrice, but she still finds her way back as the county boss. And even the person who ensured that who acted as a whistleblower, I think this blogger called Sniper, you saw how brutally he was killed. I want to ask you a simple question. Imagine you having stolen billions of shillings, let's say 10, 20 billion in your disposal. And then I want to come out to point out your weaknesses and how you've stole this money. And I know very well there are very angry people outside here who can only use 1 million to make you disappear. And then I will use another 20 million to bribe the justice system. And I will remain with the looted stuff. So, my question that I was posing to Mr. Kibe, in our calabash, do we now break the calabash? Do we destroy the calabash and forgo the milk and kill the snake? Or do we find a way of bringing this snake outside the calabash and then drink this contaminated milk? Back to you, Anthony.
Okay, the question was to Kibe, but for me, to put it in the context of today, munanisikia?
Yeah, tunakusikia.
Fatma, okay. I would get a formula to remove both the snake and the milk, so that I can now put in fresh milk and uncontaminated milk. Because that's my approach for everything. If I represent the calabash today, it's Kenya. The snake is the perennial corruption, perennial corruption, and everything bad. Every vice we have in this society is the snake. The milk, for me, would symbolize sometimes we have good people and bad people, but when the corruption and everything enters, all of it becomes bad. So what the moment we are in today, just to join what Njeri was saying, is we need to find a way of how do we empty the jar, which now I would say is Parliament, Senate, and gubernatorial position, breath of air that Kenya needs right now. Because we know what we want. We figured out how to get there, but we are scared of telling each other that we can get there. I feel for me that's what plaguing this entire movement. Tunaogopa kuambiana, tunaweza toa maziwa fresh pale, tunaweza toa maziwa fresh kwa ile ng'ombe, maziwa fresh kwa ile ng'ombe. Each cow is an institution, is an arm of government. You know, we hatuna hiyo confidence that we can be the Kenya we want. We can be the milk we want. That's my
talked about. You've said we can find a way of getting the snake outside, kill it, drain out the contaminated milk, and bring in milk that can be consumed by the family. This brings us back to one thing. As much as we are mad, as much as things are bad, we must not destroy our calabash. We must find a way of midwifing this thing. And midwifing this thing takes us back to other formation. As much as we are pressing, we want change. We must also find ways of ensuring that the snake is out, we've drained out the contaminated milk, and we get milk that can be consumed by Kenyans inside the same calabash. Because if we destroy calabash, we kill the snake, we pour out the contaminated milk, now what next? Now what next? The same question, what next? We must find solution to it. And solution to it is we must midwife this thing in a manner that we believe. I heard Njeri talking about we must bring in professional, not opportunist, who will guide us. If we do this one, if we do this one, if we do, at the end of the day, we'll have it. I want to tell you something. This generation, I'm a millennial. And millennial and Gen Zs, yes, we are educated. We are so informed. And we are grateful to technology. But we must believe even the democracy that has given us opportunity to gather here now, to talk, to air our grievances and come with a dialogue or solutions, were fought for by the people like Matiba, the Orengos in the 90s. It was never achieved instantly. It took time. Even the constitution, which is now guiding us, which is now our calabash, never came within a day, a week, a month, or a year. But the truth is, our generation, we want things to be done instantly. That's why I wake up in the morning and see maybe a friend of mine is driving Mercedes and I'm just out of the campus. In a month's time, I want to be like him. I want to drive Mercedes like him. I don't know how much he has sweat to achieve that one. I want to admire the life Kibe is living, not knowing what Kibe has gone through to a point where he is. That is the biggest challenge we have as a generation. I'm not saying that we be patient. I'm saying that being civilized generation, being populist generation. We must use our civility and our education in solving our problems. Our problems cannot be solved by bashing out or destroying the calabash. There is a way we can
hold up, Nyadimo. Nyadimo another to ngoja. Everybody just mute. I want to hear from somebody else now. Diamond.
Okay, thank you so much, Kibe. I've been waiting for this mic for so long. Thank you so much. So I'll start by saying nikiwa mdogo, I was wondering which is the biggest problem that the world is facing. And now that I'm big na nimesoma, before I was thinking that lack of education is the biggest problem in this world. But now that nimemaliza kampo, now I'm out here experiencing life. Now nimekam to realize something, and that is what is hurting Kenyans. And that thing, the problem we are having is the difference, the gap between the rich and the poor. That is the biggest problem that we are having right now. And another thing, I think Ruto government is creating government ya Ruto inafanya gap ya the rich and the poor ikue bigger and bigger, and that is why we are having this big problem. The other we are having something that is causing these chaos and problem in Kenya, which is accountability. Accountability imeongelelewa hapa so many times. Accountability ni kitu ambayo ina affect the system ya Ruto. Wakati waliingia kwa government, ile issue ilikuwa kubwa sana. Walikuwa wanasema hawakupata pesa yoyote kwa ambayo Uhuru alikuwa ameacha. But then now that he is in, we are seeing new money. This new money, where is it coming from? And it is so, ni pesa mingi sana ambayo imekuwa ikiingia kwa hii system ya Kenya na ikipotea. Like tukiulizwa hii pesa tunaambiwa 15 billion ilipotelea kwa East Citizen. How inapotea aje? Hakuna mtu anafuatilia. Do we have people, tuna watu wanaweza fuatilia hii pesa kweli? Who do we hold accountable for this money? Who do we hold accountable? So we need the way forward, Kibe. I think accountability inafaa iwekwe at the front line. If we have to find a new system or a new government, then we have to work on accountability.
Tunaenda.
And if Ruto will stay, then